Welcome to Cory's Stories. Are you ready to meditate with Cory? Hello, my little friend. Just a quick minute before your meditation story comes on. Did you know that you could be in the Real Cat Club or in a Tucker and Leo club? If you want to hear exclusive stories that no one else gets to hear, that might have your name in, go to the Patreon link just below this video and sign up. Namaste, my little friend. Are you ready to meditate with Cory? Climb up into your bed and get super comfy. Make sure that you've brushed your teeth and everything's just right. You've got your comfortable pajamas on, and you can relax your body and let go of your busy day. Tucker and Leo were hanging out with Noelle and Nadia. Noelle had been shopping with her mum that day and bought Tucker and Leo a new dog bone. Noelle and Nadia were very excited about giving Tucker and Leo their new treats. They went rushing over there together, rang the doorbell. Tucker and Leo's mum let them in, and they came in and instantly ran in the living room. Nadia was saying, "You're never going to believe what we got." Noelle said, "You're going to be so happy. You're going to be so happy, dogs." She was carrying a carrier bag. Tucker instantly started to freak out. "Must be something good in there. It must be a treat, Leo. I bet you any money it's a treat, Leo. I can smell it, Leo. It's a treat. It does smell a little bit muffled at the moment, like not completely what it is. I can smell carrier bag. I can smell plastic. I can also smell Starbucks coffee." Nadia smiled and said, "Oh, my mum spilt a little bit on the carrier bag while we were going round Target." "Ah, see, nothing passes my nose. My nose is absolutely amazing. I could be a detective with my nose, you know. I could have been like Sherlock Holmes or something." Leo said, "I can smell everything too, you know. Just because you get it out first and you talk about it first doesn't mean your nose is better than my nose. My nose smells everything." Tucker said, "Oh, that's fighting words. That's fighting talk, Leo. You want to bet on it? You want to bet that I know exactly what flavour that treat is? I knew what flavour that treat was before they even got out of the car, these two, thinking that we were going to be surprised by a dog treat. Silly girls. I knew that they had a dog treat before they even bought the dog treat." Leo said, "What? I don't think so, Tucker. I mean, are you telling me you can smell everything that's in Target 2 miles away?" "Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Definitely, that's me. I have a talent. I can smell everything in the food aisle at least." Leo started laughing. By now, Noelle and Nadia had opened up the dog treats. They were like a really, really hard dog bone with a soft middle. You had to chew and chew and chew and bite and bite and bite the outside before you could get to the middle. But there were parts of the middle showing on either end that you could lick. They happened to be one of Tucker and Leo's favourite treats because they last such a long time. Tucker got very excited and started doing his spinnies. He was spinning round in circles, banging into things, didn't care one little bit. His tail kept hitting the table on his way round. "Oh, it's my favourite. I already knew that though, but I have to pretend, don't I? Oh, thank you, Noelle. Oh, Nadia, I love you so much." Tucker was licking and kissing them. Leo was even up, waggling his tail. He was excited, which takes a lot for Leo. But it was his favourite treat too, so how could he not? The middle of the hard bones was stuffed with something like bacon flavour, whatever it was, but they liked it. They instantly both grabbed their bone, went to their bed, laid down, and started to chew, very, very intrigued. Leo was licking the ends of his bone. Tucker went for just chomping. He was chomping and chomping and chomping. It sounded like Tucker was a crocodile, crunching on bones, breaking and cracking. It was quite gross. In the meantime, Noelle and Nadia went in the kitchen to talk to Tucker and Leo's mum. They were telling her all about the Target trip and all the other things that they bought. Tucker and Leo's mum wanted a fashion show because the girls had bought clothes as well. So the girls were busy in the kitchen doing that, while Tucker was frantically trying to break his bone in half. Leo said, "Be careful, you'll hurt your teeth." And just as Leo said that, Tucker went, "Ooh," and spat out one of his tiny teeth. A tiny one from the front. "Me tooth, Leo! Goodness gracious, I lost a tooth! Mummy! Mummy!" Tucker was shouting really loud. "Mummy!" He went running in the kitchen. "Mummy, I lost a tooth!" Mum come running in the living room. There it was, laying on the rug, a tiny little Tucker tooth. It wasn't his big ones on the side, it was one of his smiley ones on the front from the bottom. Like when you say cheese and you can see all the teeth. It was one of those. "Oh dear," said Mum. "Well, you know what this means, Tucker." Tucker just smiled at his mum like, "Oh, what?" moving his head from side to side. His mum said, "We'll have to put it under your pillow tonight for the tooth fairy." "Oh," said Tucker. "I've heard about the tooth fairy. Leo, what's a tooth fairy? I don't know exactly what a tooth fairy is, but it sounds delicious." Leo said, "You don't eat the tooth fairy. A tooth fairy is a fairy that comes when your teeth fall out. She takes your teeth and she leaves you a treat or money." "Money?" said Tucker. "What on earth am I going to do with money? It's not like I'm going to go shopping or anything. I don't frequently visit Target." "Well, yours'll probably be a treat then. I would think Mum'll have a chat with the tooth fairy and let her know that you don't really need money. But a nice treat would be nice." "I didn't know that you got treats if you lost your teeth. I don't remember being a puppy losing all my puppy teeth. In fact, I probably ate them, to be honest with you. But you know what? I think I like this game. I think I like losing teeth." Tucker picked up his very hard bone and started chomping extra hard. Leo said, No. Don't lose your teeth just so you get a treat, Tucker. That's crazy. That actually makes me go funny," said Leo, shivering as if something had just walked over his grave. Tucker said, "Oh, it's okay, Leo, I'm just kidding. I'm excited though. What do we do with my tooth? Do we just leave it there on the rug?" As he said that, Mummy picked his tooth up. She walked away with it. "Where you going with me tooth?" said Tucker. Mummy turned around and said, "Don't worry, Tucker. I'm just going to put it in a little bag so that we don't lose it. And then when we put it under your pillow tonight, that's when the tooth fairy will come and she'll be able to find it." The girls got very excited about the whole idea of Tucker getting a visit from the tooth fairy. Leo said, "I don't think I've ever had a visit from the tooth fairy." He was miles away in his thoughts, thinking about if he could remember when he was a puppy, losing a tooth, and the tooth fairy coming. He didn't remember. He didn't remember having any treats left under his pillow, and that made him a little bit sad. Tucker said. Don't be sad, Leo. Me and you together will share the treat. We'll act like we both lost that tooth, even though it's my tooth. You're my brother, and I'll share my treat with you. Don't you worry. In fact, I have a plan, Leo. I'm going to stay awake. So that we can see that tooth fairy, whatever she looks like, because I'm thinking in my mind, right, that she looks delicious. Possibly the tooth fairy's a treat. Leo said, Tucker, you can't eat the tooth fairy. Oh, I won't, but if she smells nice, it might be very difficult. Tucker started laughing. Leo said, no, seriously, Tucker, you can't eat the tooth fairy. The tooth fairy goes all over the world and delivers treats and money for children and animals and all of us that lose teeth. Just one tooth fairy does all that, said Tucker. Leo said, well, actually, I don't really know. Maybe there's more than one tooth fairy. Maybe there's like hundreds of thousands of tooth fairies, because how do they go all over the world like that? What if 200 children lose their teeth all in one night? Tucker said, oh, that would be a very, very busy tooth fairy. I best not eat her. How do we know she's a she anyway? What if the tooth fairy's a he? Oh, said Leo. I don't know. They always just feel like it's a she for some reason. But maybe there's fairies that are boy fairies. I don't know. I've never seen a fairy. Have you seen a fairy, Tucker? Tucker thought about it. Only on TV. I saw one time on TV when Mummy was watching a movie about fairies, and I was intrigued. Did you know that not all fairies are pretty? Some fairies are quite scary looking. I think I saw a fairy once with a big giant mole on its nose. Leo started laughing. Maybe the tooth fairy that comes tonight will have a big giant mole on the nose, and if we try and open his eyes and keep his eyes open to see that tooth fairy, just seeing the mole alone would turn us to stone. I know what you're referring to, said Tucker. That book that we read last week. Last week. We read that book last week, right? Well, we didn't read it. When we were over at HEIDI and Cherry and VAYA's house, HEIDI was reading a book about this lady with snakes on her head. What was she called now? Leo thought about it. Tucker thought about it. Neither of them could remember what the lady... Medusa! Said Tucker really loud when he remembered. That's it. Our tooth fairy could be just like Medusa, but it's not the snakes on her head, it's the furry, hairy mole on her nose that turns us to stone. Oh, now I'm scared. Leo started laughing. I don't think there's that many fairies out there with big giant moles, especially hairy ones, on their nose. Tucker said, but you never know. You just don't know, Leo. You might be lucky enough to meet one tonight. Tucker lay next to Leo and chewed on his bone some more. Leo kept licking on his bone. He wasn't going to lose a tooth, especially if the tooth fairy had a big giant hairy mole on her nose, and if you looked at it, or if you saw her by mistake, she turned you to stone. No, thank you, thought Leo. That night, Tucker couldn't sleep. He kept pretending to sleep, but his eyes were open. And then he'd close one eye, and then he'd close the other eye, and then he was just laid there with one eye, looking around the room for what seemed like forever, until, eventually, he couldn't help himself. He fell to sleep. The next morning, Tucker forgot about the tooth fairy. He was laid yawning and stretching in bed. And Leo said, well, did you see her? See you, said Tucker. Leo said. The tooth fairy with the hairy mole on her nose. Tucker said, oh no, I completely forgot to never. Well, I didn't forget. I was up, I think, till about 3 o'clock in the morning. And then that was it. I couldn't stand it any longer, Leo, and I fell fast asleep. And I was snoring and I was dreaming about rows and rows of doggies that had been turned into statues by Medusa, the tooth fairy. And I was like, oh, I'm so scared I didn't even open my eyes. And then I opened my eyes and it was morning time. And then I forgot all about it. And then you just reminded me. And then, oh, let's look under my pillow. Tucker kicked his pillow. And there was a muffin. A doggy muffin. A doggy muffin. They didn't have those very often. A doggy muffin, said Tucker. Leo started wagging his tail. Sniffed. Oh, I like those. We've only ever had one of those before when Mum bought us one from the pet shop, remember? Oh yes I do, and it was so delicious. How did the tooth fairy with the hairy mole know that we like doggy muffins? Tucker bit the doggy muffin in half and gave the other half to Leo. Mum walked in the room at the same time and said, oh, so she came? Leo and Tucker ate the tooth fairy treat. Barely even noticed Mum. Mum carried on mopping the kitchen floor, smiling. Oh, it was very nice. It didn't last very long, but it was very nice, said Tucker. That tooth fairy lady must be a very nice lady, especially when she knows what your favourite treats are. Yeah, said Leo. Maybe we'll have to lose more teeth more often. Exactly, said Tucker, who found his bone just at the right minute and started to bite down as if it was Jaws. Jaws, a killer shark, biting down so hard he could have bit through concrete, hoping, just hoping, he might lose a tooth again. Luckily, he didn't. The end.